So guys, as I explained, Ethernet 1/1 is connected with the static IP. Okay, and Ethernet 1/2 is my outside interface. I have connected with the DSCP. Once I click on it, guys, see that the magic. I will get the my IP addresses 10.0.2.150. I know it's a public private IP, no worry, but I get a DSCP IP, guys. Okay, this is my gateway 10.0.0.1. This is the primary DNS. This is the secondary DNS. All are whatever the information is come. Okay, only one information is required for me for us actually for the default router. I will explain later. Gateway. So if you come here, you can see the VLAN interface. And there is an option of adding. So if you want to configure any VLAN interfaces, those kind of information, just give the name. Okay, I'm not configuring, but if you want, you can give the name. You can give the any VLAN number 1, 2, 3, anything. Okay, give the name VLAN 1. So that interface you can even configure from here. What is VLAN? Okay, just give the VLAN name. Add the virtual router default. Give the which security zone you want to add, and then give the IP addresses. Okay, if you want to add, okay, you can add the IP addresses here. Even there is also option for static and DSCP. So those are the option, and these are the same things like if you want to ping. So those are management profile you can select. So these are how you can even create the VLAN interface. Okay. VLAN, we know that VLAN interface, loopback interface, tunnel interface, these are actually a logical interfaces. Okay, only this one is have the physical interface. If you want to create any like 1/3, okay, if you 1/3 I'm selected. If you want to create any sub interface, okay, like if you want to create any sub interface, you can create it. Select this first, and at the below you will give the option adding sub interface. See that? Even just type one, whatever you can get it sub interface. Same thing. So sub interface is what? This is your firewall, okay, and this is connected. This is one interface, Ethernet 1/2 connected with the outside. Okay, guys. Like you have one interface, Ethernet 1/1. Okay. So this is your LAN. Okay, guys, LAN. I want in my LAN there is a multiple groups. Like one is HR group. Suppose anything. Okay, HR group. One is like IT team. I'm just giving one example. It could be anything. Okay, one is CEO team. Okay, anything. One is for programmer team. Okay, programmer. So there are multiple teams and they have their multiple subnet. Okay, they all are connected with multiple subnet. Like this one has a 10.0.0.0/24. This one suppose 10.0.1.0/24. This one 10.0.2.0/24. This one 10.0.3.0/24. Like suppose these are the subnet assigned to these are the team groups. Okay, so what would happen? My this interface, okay, what I did, this is only one interface only, but I will create this interface logically in n number of n number means even the 200, even n number of interfaces. So like this interface inside E/1, this is the same, but I will configure it with Ethernet 1/1.1. Okay, it is a logical .2, Ethernet 1/1.3, Ethernet 1/1.4. It is logical interface, but it will work, and you can assign HR group to this interface. You can assign this to this interface. You can assign CEO team to this interface. You can assign this interface to this. It is looks like it is look like logical, but work totally as a physical, like a physical interface. Nothing change. It is totally work as a physical. Okay, so those actually that's how we can create a interface and how it works. We can assign a different subnet network to each of the interface. Understood, guys? So that's how it works. And actually That is actually a logical, but it works as a totally physical interface. And you can create even n number of more than 200, 300 if one. I don't know the how much actually, but you can create. Like if you want to create a 200 different user interfaces, you can create even in a one single interface. No need for other physical interface. You can create even. Okay, that is very important features of Palo Alto Firewall. Even in the Cisco also, it will support. Even any other device support logical interface. So that's how you can create. So that's how we can create a you know what sub interface here. Okay, see that this is if you come to the policy, guys. Okay, so today we know that how to create a zones. Today we know that how to create a interface, Ethernet of interface. And once you configure, we also know that what are the physical and what are the logical interface. Now this is the most important, guys. And as a firewall administrator, your 90%, I'm saying that 90% jobs or your work on your daily basis is from this only policies, this tab only. Okay, so see that, guys. I want to show you something. If you see that, if you come to the policy tab, you can see that there is a two by default policies. One is intra zone default, one is inter zone default. This is the by default policies. Okay, it's a default policies. So first is intra zone, second one is inter zone. Okay, now come here. If you see that everything source is any to any, destination, everything is allowed. Everything is allowed. But the below one is for the interzone, which is deny. Any to any is deny. Okay, so interzone is kind of a implicit rule. Okay, so what is interzone, which is already any to any allowed? What is interzone, which is any to any deny? Come here, guys. That is very important. Okay, so this is a types of policies actually. One, it's a default policy which is not created by us. It is already created by the Palo Alto firewall. Okay, it's a default policy. One is intra zone. I don't know. Okay, intra zone. What is the intra zone policy? Intra zone. I have seen that from the any source going to any destination, it is allowed. Okay, allowed. Why it is allowed? What is intra zone, guys? We need to understand what is intra zone. Okay, intra zone is means was we have a firewall. This is outside zone. Okay, this is suppose DMZ zone, and this is inside zone, guys. Inside zone. So what is intra zone? Why it is allowed? Like suppose if we have a multiple PC in the inside, multiple PC. Okay, so I want to explain what is intra zone. Intra zone means what? Intra zone means same zone. It means one zone. What is any zone could be? Like if it is belongs to inside, your PC belongs to inside, it means into the same zone. Intra zone means what? In the same zone or into the same zone. Same zone. You will understand just now or later on what is same zone. Like suppose what is these rules are telling actually? This rule is telling that if this PC 1, 2, 3, 4, this belongs to inside zone. Okay, so whenever, and it is this all PC directly connected to firewall, guys. Directly, there is a no L3 switch, nothing else. Okay, in that kind of scenario, all PC default gateway would be firewall interface. We know that. Okay, because it is directly connected. So what happens is suppose this PC want to access into the same zone. He want to access any PC, but that PC belongs to the same inside zone. Okay. Okay, so this PC, let's suppose, want to access PC3. So how the packet flow would be? He will, when this guy will initiate a traffic, it will come to the firewall. Obvious, because the default gateway of this PC is firewall. It will come to the firewall. Firewall will check that what is the source IP. This is the source IP. What is the destination IP? PC3 is the destination IP. Okay, and that is belongs to source zone belongs to inside zone. Okay, destination zone belongs to same inside zone. That is by default allowed. It will allow it. Why it is by default allowed? Because it is belongs to the same zone only. Same zone into the same zone. That's why it is allowed by default as a default zone. This PC want to access, this is PC1 want to access, this is PC5. Okay, this PC want to access PC5. So how the packet would be? That packet, because it is directly connected with the firewall interface. So once he will initiate the packet will come to the firewall, and firewall will see? Firewall will see that what is the source IP. source IP of whatever it is, 10.0.0.1. Okay. And what is the source zone? You will check that source zone is from DMZ, guys. What is the destination IP? Destination IP 10.0.0.5, whatever. And it also check what is destination zone. So destination zone is also DMZ. So firewall not going to check anything. It is by default allowed. It is allowed. It is simply firewall because it is not crossing the firewall, right? Why it is allowed? Just try to understand. It is not crossing the firewall. It will just allow it because it is the same zone. It belongs to the same zone. It is not passing the firewall. It is not traversing the firewall. So this is the meaning of intrazone. It means any policy, any PC, if it is one, if try to access into the same zone, it try to access any destination which belongs to the same zone, that is by default allowed. Okay, so intrazone means what? Intrazone means traffic which is traversing, or traffic is traversing into the same zone. Traffic traversing into the same zone is called intrazone. The second was interzone. Interzone, we have seen, right? Interzone, this is the second interzone. Interzone is by default deny was there. Okay, what is interzone? Interzone, it means what? This is a firewall, this is inside zone, this is suppose my DMZ, and this is suppose my outside. Okay, just so outside. What is interzone? If any PC just try to access across the firewall, he was just try to across the zone, he just try to go across the zone from inside to DMZ, or inside to outside, or from any zone, or from DMZ to inside, or from outside to inside, means what? It is just, it is not into the same zone, it is crossing the zone. It is crossing the zone. So by default, from any zone, any source, any PC, any traffic which is going crossing the zone, it means it is just crossing the zone, it is by default deny. That is a default rule. So now we understand intrazone. Intrazone means if traffic is there inside the same zone, if traffic is inside the same zone which is allowed. Same zone could be inside, could be outside, could be DMZ, anything, guys. Okay, if it is communicating inside the same zone, that is allowed by default, allowed. But if any PC crossing from one side to outside, or okay, anywhere, or inside to DMZ, or DMZ to inside, that is called interzone. Interzone, and which is by default blocked. So that's why we have to be create a policy when traffic is moving from one zone to other zone. We have to be create the security policy. Like suppose my firewall. Okay, I want to explain the intra zone. The same. This is my DMZ. I want to give one more concept. Only one concept, that is not enough, guys. Like suppose this is your L3 switch, guys. L3 switch. L3 switch. L3 switch. And there is a one dumb L2 switch. L2 switch actually used to be dumb, right? But could be a manageable also, but this is L2 switch. And there is a multiple PC which is connected. This is all connected with this L2 switch. And this zone is my inside zone, guys. Guys, all PCs, whatever, this PC1, this PC2, this PC3, this PC4. If this PC1 want to access PC4, was it go to this firewall? No. Why? Because once he initiated traffic, there is a L3 device. It will come to the L2, and there is a one L3 device. L3 switch has all the route and everything. He will not going to forward the traffic to the firewall because he is aware of as a VLAN tagging where is this PC4 belongs. He will just forward it to this. So likewise, this is at the same zone. Okay, guys. So if any traffic, whatever is the same zone, if any PC want to access anything, it will forward the packet to the your switch, and then switch will take a decision and then forward it. Why? Because the traffic is not going the firewall. But if this PC want to access someone at the DMZ or someone at the outside, that time once this PC to once initiate a packet, come to the L3 switch, as per the destination route, he will take a decision. He will forward to the firewall, and then firewall will take a decision and forward to the policy.